Gentle things still matter. In a noisy town where everyone seemed to be in a hurry, lived a quiet girl named Alina. Alina wasn't the loudest in class. She didn't tell big jokes or win every competition. She didn't have the fastest answers or the brightest clothes. Sometimes, people barely noticed she was there at all. But Alina noticed everything. She noticed when the class plant drooped and needed water. She noticed when the new boy, Samir, sat alone at lunch pretending not to care. She noticed when her teacher sighed a little more than usual while grading papers. And Alina believed in small, gentle things. One Monday morning, Samir dropped all his books in the hallway. Kids stepped around him, late for class. Alina knelt down without a word and helped gather the pages that had slipped out. "Thanks," he muttered, embarrassed. She just smiled. "Happens to me all the time." It didn't seem like much. But that day, Samir didn't eat lunch alone. He sat across from Alina. At home, Alina's neighbor, Mrs. Rahman, struggled to carry groceries up the stairs. Most people hurried past, busy with their phones or their thoughts. Alina ran over and took two of the heaviest bags. "Oh dear, you're a lifesaver," Mrs. Rahman said, catching her breath. Alina shrugged. They looked heavy. That evening, Mrs. Rahman baked extra cookies and shared them with the building. She told everyone, "A kind girl reminded me that people still help each other." At school, their teacher, Mr. Farouk, looked especially tired one Friday. The class had been loud all week. Papers were missing. Homework was forgotten. When the bell rang, Alina stayed back for a moment and left a small note on his desk. "Thank you for being patient with us. I like how you explain math. It makes it less scary." Mr. Farouk found it after school. He sat down slowly and read it twice. Then he smiled, the kind of smile that reaches tired eyes. On Monday, he came to class with a little more energy and a lot more patience. None of these things made the news. No one clapped. There were no trophies. But something quiet began to change. Samir started helping others with homework. Mrs. Rahman began checking on other elderly neighbors. Mr. Farouk started writing encouraging comments on students' work instead of just grades. Kindness moved through the town not like fireworks, loud and bright, but like sunlight through a window. Soft, steady, easy to miss if you weren't looking. One day, Alina overheard two girls talking. "People are nicer lately," one said. "Yeah," the other replied. "It's like small things, but they make a difference." Alina smiled to herself and kept walking. She still wasn't the loudest. She still wasn't the most noticed. But she knew a secret the world sometimes forgets. Gentle things still matter. A quiet, "Are you okay?" A shared seat. A small note. A helping hand. As the weeks passed, the town didn't suddenly become perfect. People still rushed. Cars still honked. Bad days still happened. But now, gentle things were slipping into the cracks. And those gentle things were spreading. One rainy afternoon, the school bus broke down a few streets away from the school. The driver called for help, but it would take time. The rain poured harder, turning the road into puddles. Kids groaned. "My shoes are going to be ruined. This day just keeps getting worse. I'm freezing." Samir pulled his hoodie tighter. He noticed a small first-grade student standing near the back, trying not to cry. Her backpack looked too big for her, and the rain had already soaked her sleeves. He remembered the day his books had spilled. He remembered someone kneeling beside him. Samir took off his extra jacket from his bag and gently draped it over the little girl's shoulders. "You can wear this," he said. Live close. I'll be okay." Her teary eyes brightened. "Really?" "Yeah," he smiled. Gentle things still matter. He didn't even realize he'd said Alina's words. A few other students noticed. One shared an umbrella. Another offered a snack. Someone started telling silly jokes to distract the younger kids. By the time the replacement bus arrived, the rain hadn't stopped, but the complaining had. Something softer had taken its place. Meanwhile, Mrs. Rahman had started a new habit. Every Sunday, she baked a little extra, sometimes bread, sometimes cookies, sometimes savory pastries, and left a small plate outside the apartment doors of neighbors who lived alone. She never signed her name. But one evening, she found a note slipped under her door. "Thank you for the food. It made my day less lonely." Her eyes filled with tears. She hadn't realized her small baking routine meant that much. The next Sunday, she made even more. At school, Mr. Farouk tried something different too. Instead of starting math class with numbers, he began with one question. "Who saw or did a small act of kindness this week?" At first, the class was quiet. Then a hand went up. "I helped my sister with her reading." Another. "I let someone go ahead of me in the canteen line." Another. "I picked up trash on the playground." Soon, stories filled the room. None were huge. None were heroic. But each one carried that same soft glow. Alina listened, surprised. She hadn't told anyone to do these things. She had just done them. Mr. Farouk smiled at the class. "See, the world doesn't just change with big, loud actions. It changes with gentle ones, repeated every day." Alina felt her cheeks grow warm. She looked out the window so no one would see her smile too wide. But one day, being gentle felt harder. A new girl joined their class, Zara. She was quiet, but not in the same calm way as Alina. Zara seemed guarded, like she expected people to be unkind. At lunch, a group of kids whispered about her old, faded backpack. Did that come from a museum? One snickered. Alina felt the tight feeling in her chest, the one that comes when something is wrong but no one wants to speak first. Being gentle when it's easy is one thing. Being gentle when it's uncomfortable is another. Alina picked up her tray and walked over to Zara. "Can I sit here?" she asked. Zara looked surprised. Okay." Alina pointed to the backpack. "I like your keychain. Is that a little moon?" Zara's face changed instantly. "Yeah, my grandma gave it to me. It's really pretty," Alina said. Across the room, the whispering faded. One by one, others joined the table, not making a big show of it, just sitting, talking, sharing fries. Gentle didn't mean weak. Sometimes, gentle meant brave in a quiet way. That evening, Alina lay in bed thinking. She hadn't stopped any storms. She hadn't solved every problem. She hadn't made the world loud with change. But she had helped make it softer. And in a world that could be sharp and hurried and loud, softness was its own kind of strength. She smiled into her pillow, knowing something true deep in her heart. Gentle things still mattered, and they always would.